Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're zeroing in on something pretty fundamental for understanding how successful businesses really work.
That's right. The basics of business analysis.
Exactly. And we've got some, well, really practical sources for this.
Yeah.
We're looking at practice questions and the explanations behind them from ECBA.
The entry certificate and business analysis exam.
Yeah. So think of this as like your quick guide to grasping the core ideas.
Yeah.
Figuring out what a business actually needs and how to make solutions that, well, work.
And our mission really is just to make these concepts clear and relevant for you, the listener.
Precisely. We're basically using these exam questions as a launch pad.
Yeah, to pull out that bedrock knowledge. It's about getting a real feel for how you identify what a business truly needs and, importantly, how you make sure the solutions actually deliver value.
Okay, let's dive right in then. First up, stakeholders. Question 1 is, what is the primary purpose of a stakeholder map in business analysis? And the answer our sources give is C, to analyze relationships and influence levels.
No.
So why is that the main thing?
Well, think about it like trying to manage a big project. Maybe like steering a ship. You might have loads of people involved.
Right. Lots of opinions.
Exactly. A stakeholder map helps you figure out who's actually got influence, who's maybe just observing, and critically, how they all connect. It's not simply listing names.
So it's more dynamic than just a list?
Absolutely. It's about the power dynamics, the relationships. I mean, if you've ever been on a project where things went a bit sideways with communication,
Oh, yeah, been there.
chances are a clearer view of those stakeholder relationships and their influence could have, really helped smooth things out. You need it to tailor your communication effectively.
That makes a lot of sense. Okay, moving on. Let's talk about tackling those big, sometimes kind of scary business goals. Question 2 asks, which technique is best used to break down high-level business goals into manageable components? And the answer is B, functional decomposition. What does that actually mean in practice?
Okay, functional decomposition. Think of it like this. You have a huge objective, right? Something like boost customer satisfaction.
Okay, pretty broad.
Very broad. Functional decomposition is just the process of breaking that giant goal down into smaller, more concrete functions or tasks.
So actionable steps.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Maybe it means improving the sign-up process or enhancing the support system or maybe streamlining how you collect feedback. And then each of those can often be broken down even further. It's kind of like planning a big vacation. You don't just say, go to Italy. You break it down, right? Flights, hotels, what you'll do each day. It makes something that seems overwhelming feel achievable.
Right, it turns that massive mountain into a series of smaller hills you can actually climb. Got it. Okay, question 3. This shifts focus a bit towards defining the qualities of a system. It asks, what type of requirement describes qualities such as usability, reliability, and performance?
Okay, qualities.
The answer here is D, non-functional requirement. Now, what's the key difference between non-functional and, well, functional requirements?
Yeah, this is a really important distinction. So functional requirements define what a system needs to do. The specific actions, like the system must let users log in. That's a function.
Okay, the what?
Right. Non-functional requirements describe how well the system performs those functions. Things like usability, is it easy to use? Reliability, does it crash all the time? Performance, is it fast enough?
Okay, the how well.
Precisely. You need both. A system can technically do everything it's supposed to, but if it's horribly slow or confusing to use, well, it's not really a successful system, is it?
No, not really practical. Makes sense. So the what gets it working, the how well makes it actually good. Okay, question 4 gets into identifying those initial business needs. During which task is a business analyst, BA, most likely to identify business needs? The answer is D, analyze current state. Why is looking at the now so vital for figuring out the next?
Well, it's really the starting point for everything, isn't it? Before you can even think about solutions or improvements, you have to understand the current situation clearly.
A baseline.
Exactly. Analyzing the current state means looking at, existing processes, the technology being used, the problems people are facing, maybe opportunities they're missing. It's kind of like a doctor diagnosing a patient.
Okay, yeah.
They need to understand the symptoms, the history, before they can prescribe anything. So by understanding the current pain points and what's working or not working, you can accurately define the needs that any new solution has to address.
Makes perfect sense. You can't fix it if you don't know what's broken. All right, question 5. This one's about making sure everyone gets it, everyone's on the same page about requirements. Which of the following would best help the BA to ensure that requirements are clearly understood by all stakeholders?
Clarity, always a challenge.
The answer given is B, use case diagram. How does a visual thing like a diagram help with understanding?
Think about trying to explain a complex process just using words, especially to different people, technical folks, business users. It can get misinterpreted easily, right?
Definitely.
A use case diagram gives you a visual story. It shows how a user, or maybe another system, what we call an actor, interacts with the system to achieve a specific goal. You see the steps, the flow.
So it makes it less abstract.
Exactly. It makes those requirements much more concrete, more tangible. Everyone can look at the same picture and say, okay, that's how it's supposed to work. It's like showing a blueprint instead of just describing a house over the phone. Much clearer for everyone involved.
Yeah, a picture is worth 1,000 words, I guess.
Ah.
Okay, question 6 takes us into tracking. Often overlooked, maybe. What is the purpose of a requirements traceability matrix? The answer is B, to connect requirements to design and testing artifacts. Why is making that connection so important?
It's absolutely crucial, though, maybe not the most glamorous part. Imagine building something complex, like that house again, but without keeping track of which part of the plan relates to which wall or which electrical circuit.
Chaos.
Total chaos. A requirements traceability matrix is basically that tracking system for a project. It links each original requirement, that business need we identify through the whole process, to the design docs, to the actual code, and importantly, to the tests that verify it works.
So it connects the dots.
Precisely. It ensures that everything built actually ties back to an original need and that everything needed gets tested. It gives you that clear line of sight from start to finish, helps prevent scope creep too, or things getting missed.
Right, accountability and making sure you actually build what you set out to build. Okay, question 7. This focuses on making sure we're building the right things. When validating requirements, which question is most important for the BA to ask? The answer pointed out is B. Does the requirement support business objectives? Why is this the ultimate check?
Well, fundamentally, any project, any initiative a business undertakes, it should be contributing to the bigger picture, right? To its overall goals and strategy.
Makes sense.
So every single requirement, every feature, every function, you should be able to trace it back and say, okay, this helps achieve this specific business objective. If you have a requirement and you can't do that,
Then why are you doing it?
exactly. It really begs the question, why are we spending time and resources on this? Validation is about making sure we're not just, building stuff because it seems cool, but that we're focusing effort on things that genuinely drive business value. It's about that alignment.
Keeping everyone focused on the real prize.
Absolutely.
All right, question 8 is about looking outwards. Which technique involves comparing organizational performance against industry best practices? The answer is B, benchmarking. How does looking at what others are doing help internally?
Benchmarking is super valuable. It gives you context. It can highlight areas where maybe you didn't even realize you were lagging or where there are opportunities you hadn't considered.
Revealing blind spots.
Yeah, precisely. By looking at how other successful organizations, especially in your own industry, operate their processes, their results, their strategies, you can identify where you might improve. It's like a runner looking at the training regimes or race times of top competitors.
Okay, yeah.
You see what good looks like, or even great, and it gives you concrete ideas for raising your own game. It's all about learning from others and pushing for continuous improvement.
Makes perfect sense. Learn from the best. Okay, almost there. Question 9 tackles the inevitable change. Which of the following is a valid reason to adjust business analysis planning? The answer is A. Stakeholder roles have changed. Why is a shift in people such a big deal for the plan?
Because projects are dynamic, they don't happen in a static bubble. The people involve their roles. Who's responsible for what? Who has influence that can shift during a project? And your business analysis plan, it heavily relies on knowing who those stakeholders are, how you're going to communicate with them, who needs to sign off on things. So if key people change roles or new ones come in, well, your original plan for communication, for approvals, maybe even your understanding of certain needs might suddenly be outdated.
So the plan needs to adapt.
Absolutely. Being too rigid with your BA plan when the landscape is changing is often a recipe for problems down the line. Plans need to be flexible.
Believe you've documents, not set in stone. Got it. Okay, final question, number 10. A business analyst, BA, needs to assess the impact of a change request. What should be the BA's first step? The correct answer is C. Perform impact analysis on existing requirements. Why is understanding the ripple effect the first thing you do?
Because any change, even one that seems really small or isolated on the surface, can have knock-on effects. It can impact other requirements, other parts of the system, the project timeline, the budget, you name it.
The ripples in the pond.
Exactly. Performing that impact analysis first lets you understand those potential ripples before you commit to the change. It helps identify conflicts, dependencies you hadn't thought of, and just the overall effort involved. It means decisions about change are made with eyes wide open, not based on assumptions. It avoids nasty surprises later.
Crucial first step, then.
Thinking about all these core concepts we just walked through, from understanding stakeholders to assessing impact.
Yeah.
Where in your own work, maybe a project you're on now or a challenge you keep facing, where might applying one or two of these techniques more deliberately actually make a significant difference.
Yeah, what could lead to a real breakthrough for you?
Something to chew on. Thanks for taking this deep dive with us today.